Hello, viewer, and welcome to Spotlight here on Hope TV, where you look and live. And on Spotlight, we are always doing our very best to bring to you persons and conversations that help us, specifically as we live in the direction of light. Now, the world we're living in today is full of there's so much going on that the word stress is commonplace. You know, at the end of the day, we're talking about stress. Even sometimes at the beginning of the day, we're talking about stress because so much is going on. Our minds are under pressure. And sometimes we are so much under pressure that we don't even think about. We have no time to reflect on how to get out of that pressure. Now, on Spotlight, on this edition, we will be asking ourselves, is it possible to live a stress-free life? Well. Now, we're going to have the answer to that because we have with us Mercy Wanjeri, who is the founder of Mind Purpose Africa. And she engages on a daily basis on matters mental health. And you would definitely want to hear what she has to say about this question: can you live a stress-free life? Again, do engage us on WhatsApp on 0708 222 323, 0708 222 323. It's our WhatsApp line. Please be part of this conversation as we welcome Mercy Wanjeri. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
This is your first time to Hope Media.
Truly, yes.
You're very welcome.
Thank you so much.
And once you're here, chances are that you'll be back.
Welcome.
Yeah.
I'll be happy to be back.
Great.
Yes.
Now, this is a very important subject.
Yes.
And some people who've just now tuned in are really looking for real tips. They're looking for real practical solutions
Yes.
as to how to handle their very high-pressure lives. Some people have actually gone through the experience of having broken down. Other people who are watching right now have gone through the place of just relapsing. Sometimes they are stress-free. Sometimes they just get back to it. Now, you deal with this on a day-to-day basis. But before we get to that, tell us a little bit about Mind Purpose Africa.
Yes, thank you so much. I'm happy to be here, first of all. Good evening. And Mind Purpose is an organization that deals with mental health. And our tagline is experience, engage, empower. So we experience mental health issues with our clients. We engage them on what can be done, and then we empower so that when these individuals come to us, they get empowered in terms of mental health. So that is what we do on a daily basis. We deal with the youth. There's so many issues affecting the youth in this country. There is marriages, which have not been spared either. So here we are talking about the whole person. Yeah? How does a person become whole? A person can only become whole when they are mentally stable. Yes. So that's our work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quite the work there, having to deal with people, especially when their minds are clogged and battered. Now that we're talking about stress
Yes.
and the possibility of living stress-free, maybe you can tell us, because some person may be saying, hey, I think I'm just taking in pressure from life, but are there some, is stress a condition? And if stress is a condition, what are the signs that
Yes.
make you know that now you are in that
Yeah.
condition
Yeah.
that is described as stress?
Yes. Yeah, first of all, we live on a daily basis with stress. Stress is available every day. And maybe I would pose a question and ask, who has never experienced stress? I guess almost 90% people have experienced stress. There are two types of stress. We have stress that is normal stress. The traffic jam is normal stress. A bit of waiting for a payroll coming your way is a small stress. But when stress gets to another level whereby it becomes chronic stress. And chronic stress is when you've been waiting for something for so long. For example, you've been waiting for a job. A job is not coming 6 months down the line, 7 months down the line, 1 year. You become chronic because there's something you've been expecting and it's not happening. Another thing that would cause that chronic stress is a disease. Maybe you've been having a disease for quite some time. It's stressing you up. Maybe it's a relationship. A long-term stress becomes chronic. But now we can deal with either of the two. First of all, stress. What causes stress? Maybe
The normal.
the normal stress, like anxiety, for example. Are you anxious because of your boss? Your boss is demanding so much on your desk. You are a salesperson. Maybe you're not performing at your company. That can cause stress. Yeah? A relationship, maybe your spouse, you're having issues in a marriage. A child who has gone wayward, alcoholism, maybe you're dealing with a child who is already an addict or a spouse. That also can cause stress. Yeah, that's the kind of stress you're talking about.
All right.
Yeah.
Now, you mentioned about that stress is, we must go through some stress.
Yes.
At in one point.
Yes.
And to not expect stress, then you might need to adjust your expectations because stress is going to come.
Yes.
Now, and that's okay.
Yeah.
They even say that for you to win a sport,
Yes.
you need a certain level, of anxiety and stress
Yes.
for you to be in that space.
Yes.
Now, that's normal.
Yes.
And that's okay.
Yes.
Now, tell us about the signs of chronic stress.
Yes.
That now this is becoming a condition.
Exactly.
Just tell us the signs of that.
Yeah. One of the signs is like lack of sleep. You find that something is disturbing an individual. For so long, you've been thinking about this thing for quite some time. So it has accumulated in your brain. And our bodies are made up of hormones. So there are hormones that are triggered when you think too much, and that becomes chronic. And when it becomes chronic, your body says, hey, something is not working. You start having headaches, for example, excessive headaches, migraines, Some people exhibit signs of stomach upset, because they would go for ulcers, stomach ulcers. An individual has thought about this thing for so long, it has affected the body functions. And you know what? How our bodies are created by God. They were created to flight, to flee, So once you find an issue in your life, it shakes you up. So the degree of the shake-up will determine the level of your stress. Yeah. So major signs, loss of weight also. You would find an individual who was healthy, now he has lost weight or she has lost weight, And others even talk on the road, they're just talking on themselves. It's like there's a person, that level of depression, that is a mild depression to begin with. And also loss of appetite. If somebody was eating well, 3-course meal, now they're not eating anymore, There's also eating too much. People behave differently to stress.
Okay.
Yeah. And so those are the signs of a stressed person. And it is all over. You cannot miss it out. You cannot miss it out, including mood swings. You can identify that the mood has drastically changed, Yeah? If it's a mother with her kids, she's shouting to the children, If it's a teacher, maybe teaching the students, the mood has changed because there's something that is not normal, Stress is undergoing something that is not normal in your life.
All right.
Yes.
In the course of your practice.
Yes.
And because of meeting people.
Yeah.
What would you say of these signs? What would you say are the most prominent from your interactions?
Yes.
You've talked about, lack of sleep.
Yeah.
Talked about headaches and migraines. Talked about stomach upsets. Talked about change in eating habits,
Yes.
either too much or too little. Talked about all these mood swings.
Yeah.
But what would you say are like the main observations? This is from your experience.
Yes, currently, I would say that the world, including Kenya, we are going through a lot of economic hardships, and lack of money is evident even in our practice. I'll give an example of maybe a family whose income was stable, maybe before COVID and now. And so there's a lot of anxiety.
Anxiety.
Yeah, anxiety is prominent. That is across the board, from the mother, the father, the kids, because things are not the way they were. So many changes have happened. That is the cause that we are treating. Another one is that acute anxiety is being caused by too much expectations. I'll give an example of a dad who had a job, and this job is no longer there anymore. So the breadwinner is not bringing bread on the table. And what happens? If a father does not have income, the mother will be affected. What about the children? The children will be affected. What about the extended family? It will be affected. So there's a lot of anxiety across the board. That is why I'm saying it is across the board.
Across the board.
So that is one. Another one is we are getting a lot of depression now coming up. Too much. And this is also for both sexes, because people are not able to meet their needs currently, And that shift, the shift of having and not having, or the shift of changing, is really causing people to have stress in their lives.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No, I'm just asking this on behalf of many viewers.
Yes.
And does the body or the mind have some shock absorbers, inbuilt shock absorbers? Because you talked about, there's stress and there's now chronic stress.
Yes.
Are there some aspects of the mind that would actually are built in before we even look for external cures?
Yes.
Are there some? Is the mind in any way made to absorb certain levels of stress?
Yes, definitely. The human mind is created to live normally. Security, If you have food on the table, you have a house under your roof, you have clothes, you're secure somehow. But stress comes in when you feel threatened, You don't have food on the table. That already is a threat. You don't have food, you don't have clothes to wear, you don't have a roof over your head. So that already triggers stress levels in you, because you're not functioning normally. And I'm going to talk about predisposition. And giving an example is two people would be having a job, for example, and both of them are rendered without a job, for example. And one person will go on with their life very well, eat well, continue nicely. The other person will be affected immediately. That one, we call it a predisposition. It depends with how you react towards stress. There is somebody who would even lose a loved one, for example, and try to get along very well. And there's another person who would be fixated towards that loss and take so much time before they heal. So the mind, just as the way we are different.
Okay.
Yes.
I'm again just hearing what you're saying.
Yeah.
And seeing the persons who they experience the same event, but their levels of stress are quite different. Again, are there people who you can say by their own mechanism, are better at handling stress? There are people who can say, either because of their culture or because of their makeup, or because of their experiences, they have better shock absorbers. They can take more levels of stress, because I think that's what everyone would want to be like. You can be able to get absorb high levels of stress.
Yes, they are. They are. Here we talk about childhood experiences, for example. And this comes when, during the first 6 years of life, How a child grew up the first 6 years of life will determine the rest of their lives in regards to stress. That is it. Why am I saying this? If a child is secure, for example, yeah, a child found a secure life during their first 6 years of life, even if this child faces any type of stress, they are going to be able to handle it because already their brain is already tuned into security. But if a child below 6 years found no mother, was in the streets, found no food, already the brain has been aligned in a certain way of getting for themselves, fending for themselves. Already there is no security. And who gives security to a child is a guardian or a mother or a father. A home gives security to a child. So once this child born, bred in 6 years in a very secure environment, these children are the ones who are very, very comfortable later in life, even as we are today. If a stress comes, they know how to deal with it, you know. They do not have anxiety. We also have another technique of children who were not able to attach themselves well, you know. We call them attachment styles. How did you attach yourself when you were young? What type of parents brought you up? If a parent was anxious when they were bringing you up, most definitely or not, you're going to be anxious. If a guardian or a parent brought you securely, provided for you the normal security, the normal provision, basic needs, school, you just went straight, no anxieties in your life, definitely you're going to be able to cope with later life stresses. I'll give a good example. If a child is exposed to, also, we've seen even Indians and many people, they expose their children to hardships when they are very young. Even like putting a child inside a pool and bringing them out, you know. They want the child to have that boldness to face calamities in their life later. And that proves currently, as we're living today, the Gen Z, where we are, they're not able to take up stress. That is the statistics that actually in today's world, the statistics are saying that the Gen Zs, 56% of them are more stressed than before, than the millennials, you know, and the baby boomers and the stuff, because they're not able to take stress, you know. They're not even a slightest. Have you seen even suicidal kids nowadays? There's a lot of suicide cases, even with parents, because the stress levels, they can't take any more stress levels. There's no resilience. I know I'll come back here and talk about resilience. It's the high time as parents, as ourselves, to teach ourselves how to become resilient. In times of crisis, for example, yeah, how far can you take this? I'll talk about vulnerability.
Well, let's wait for that
Yes.
when it comes to
Yes.
that part of the conversation.
Yeah.
You know, when we let stress
Yes.
build
Yes.
to those chronic levels,
Yes.
and we don't do anything about it. You've just hinted to some of the things, like sometimes suicide
Yes.
becomes an option.
Yeah.
You know, what are some of the things that, again, that happen if you let stress build up without finding a solution for it?
That one definitely gets to a disease, because once you have all the signs we've talked about, the lack of sleep, eating too much, you know, fear, worry, anxiety, your body is built to protect yourself. You know, the immune system, it knows when to absorb and when not to. You know, our bodies are created to sense danger. Once the body senses danger, what happens? Your stomach starts getting ulcers. Yeah? Too much acid. You know, because things are not working. There's a hormone that triggers the glands, and there's a lot of acid in your tummy. Migraines, you know, you start having a lot of chronic migraines. You know, taking Panadols and, I don't know, Betapine, you know, because you're having a lot of migraines. Your body is telling you, hey, stop there. Let's look at what is happening in your life, you know. Cancer, currently, statistics are saying that cancer is rampant because of stress levels. If your body stays stressed for long, you know, the hormones, they're always saying this body is stressed. January to December, year to year. So what happens? Cancers start coming up into your body because it is too much stressed. Yeah, you're not able to release those stresses, which I know we are going to talk about. Yeah, there are so many other things that are like obese, for example. There are people who will eat too much and they become obese.
Yeah.
Others will not eat at all and they become so vulnerable to diseases because they're not healthy at all. Yeah. And even lack of sleep, really. Your brain is meant to sleep, of course, for 8 hours. That's what we recommend. 8 hours sleep. If a human body does not sleep for 8 hours, so many things don't work in your body because you need to be healthy mentally. How does a brain work if you work the brain 24 hours non-stop? You know, there are times that you need to sleep so that you regenerate. You have great ideas, great business ideas, great output in your workplace, great parenting methods, you know, great love, you know, all these things.
Yeah, I just want to ask you again.
Yeah.
I know we've talked about like stress is it's there's a normal
Yeah.
stress.
Yes.
And there is the chronic stress. I want to just ask on behalf of the viewers whether there is what you can call unnecessary stress, like a stress that is not just normal or chronic, but one that is essential, that at some point you need some level of stress for you to
Yes.
to perform or for you to engage or
Yes.
for you to do well. Is there what you can describe as a necessary stress?
Yes, it is there. I'll give an example. If you need to perform well at your workplace, you have to push yourself. You know, you're the one who has put for you the goals, which you think and you are sure they are achievable goals. If you have a goal that you've put for yourself, and this goal, I have to get it for these sales to change, that is a necessary stress because you will achieve your goal and you will not have stress. And do you know what happens to this kind of necessary stress? You win because once you achieve it, you come out victorious. You're happy about yourself. So you get that pay rise or you get that nice business deal. You get that good school you've been waiting for your kids. So you feel good about yourself. And what does that do? You give yourself stress, then you achieve what you wanted, and then, oh, I achieved that. You feel a sense of happiness, you know?
Yeah, and of course
You
the question
get
is
rejuvenated, you know?
how you measure that. How do you know that this is the good kind of stress?
If it is giving results and you're not exhibiting these chronic signs,
Okay.
you know, like not eating for 2 days, surely that is not chronic, you know, that's necessary. Maybe you're working and of course your brain knows we are doing this because we want to achieve this. So even your brain is very much aware. Get an example whereby your brain is not aware that something is going to happen. Oh, you're going to crumble. You will feel stressed because it is instant. But this stress that you're talking about, it's necessitated.
Okay.
I need to study. You know, I've had people telling me, you know, I'm studying so hard, you know. So they're pushing themselves.
Yeah.
Yeah? That is necessary stress. You want to achieve something.
Okay.
You have a goal. And this goal you've put, it is not a goal that is not achievable. It is an achievable goal. Yeah, and it's measurable. So go for it. It's necessary.
You know, I think that these are very important insights.
Yes.
And you made a lot of reference to the home.
Yes.
You know, because you know you mentioned about the way children are brought up. Some are brought up today that they don't have certain levels. The threshold is very low. You talk about hardships. You know, we talk about especially the African parents. the traditional African parents and hardships,
Yes.
were commonplace. Now, going back to the home now, because the dynamics of parenting have really shifted.
Yes.
So at what point do you know, or how do you separate when you're disciplining a child and when you are engaging a certain discipline that will become injurious or become now a negative stress on the child?
Yes.
Because sometimes you're so zealous, as a parent,
Yes.
to do a certain discipline. But yeah, you're doing it with your zeal, but you're really damaging the child.
Yeah.
Instead of like building them up or building what you call resilience. We'll
Yes.
come to that.
Yes.
But how do you measure?
Yeah, this comes about yourself as a parent. The child has nothing to do with discipline. A parent is the one who should be in control of their emotions. Remember, okay, those days, I know my mother could be watching me. Mothers used to just look at you and they're just giving you a clue or a sign that I don't need you here at the living room. For example, I don't know, in the African context. So you disappear maybe to wherever you go. But currently, it's different. So today's parents, should be aware that this is my child and this is what I want my child to do. So work on your emotions first. If a boss stressed you today, then you hit the cat, you hit the child, that is really serious. And that's why our kids may be worried, why is dad in that mood? Yeah. So what we advocate is, once, be aware. It's very important as a parent to be aware. I need to discipline my child. What has my child done? So today's world, we are talking to our children. We are talking to our children. We are not shouting anymore. We are in control of our emotions. We are not doing as the neighbor is doing. We are doing our own thing by being self-aware.
Okay.
How do I want my child to be? Disciplined.
Oh, let's stay with that, Mercy, because we'll take a short break.
Yes.
Viewer, we are talking about living a life that is free of stress. But as it's coming out, you can't quite be free of stress, but you can manage the stress to a level that is helpful and beneficial. So we are taking a short break. Do again stay with us. We'll be right back. This is Spotlight.
Only God can turn a mess into a message.
I have a boy on a wheelchair. I'm still preaching on the pulpit.
Amen. Niliona mguu ya nyuma inakuja tu kunikanyaga, imenilenga tu kwa tumbo. Nikaitana tu, Jesus.
I got tired of working with the x-ray papers, and one day I just woke up and decided to burn them.
A test into a testimony.
The whole community didn't want to hear that anybody is born again. Excommunicated, straight.
Bila Yesu hakuna njia.
Join Sharon Naitore Wangenye on Testify.
Katika hiyo harakati, hiyo spirit ikakemewa. Mimi nimeona Yesu Kristo namna hii kwa msalaba. Opa, hallelujah, hallelujah.
Hope TV is now available on GoTV Channel 103, Zuku Channel 873, Signet Channel 817, and Star Times Channel 026. Enjoy our uplifting content and family-friendly programming anytime. Hope TV, you look and live.
Viewer, welcome back. This is Spotlight, and we are talking about managing stress. We started out by asking, can one live a stress-free life? But it's coming out clearly that stress comes to all of us. And now we are in that place in this conversation where we're asking ourselves, how do we handle the stress in a way that does not stop us from advancing in life, in a way that does not paralyze us? Again, we are happy to be joined by Mercy Wanjeri, who is the founder of Mind Purpose Africa. And great conversation, because just for the break, we're talking about the home.
Yeah.
And a question is coming, because homes are supposed to be havens. You know, ideally, homes are supposed to be the places where you retire. And after all the stress in the world, you want to enter that space and just breathe in and out.
Yes.
But sometimes homes have become now manufacturers of stress. And I want to ask on behalf of the viewer here, is there anything that parents, children can do to create a low stress environment in the home?
Yes, definitely. A home, as you say, is a haven. I like that word because once everybody goes out, comes in to the home. And if a home has a good environment, you'll be missing to go home very early. So as you've asked, yes, as parents, first of all, we talk about a functional family unit. What is a functional family unit? It is a family unit that is well knit, you know. There is proper communication from the dad, the mom, to the kids, or to anybody else who is in the house. And if there is a communication breakdown in the home, things will not function well. Is there openness in this home, for example, you know? Okay, what are the rules of our family? You know, because once a family unit has rules and regulations as a family, nothing will go amiss. And also, how do we operate our financials, for example? Yeah? Who earns money and what does this money do to the family? Are all the kids in school? Because there is this source of income. So once a family has laid down those financials, you know, the rules, which church do we go to, when do we visit parents, which visitors should come to our home, and all that, once a family is aware, everybody of the home, the children, the mother and the father, then the family will live happily. Problem comes when there's dysfunctionality. What do I mean? If a family lets third parties, let's say, for example, a marriage, you let a third party operate in your spheres of your life, love, then there's a problem. If there's a spouse who is not open, also there's a problem because it brings resentment. And this trickles down to the children, you know? So what is your culture as a family? What is your culture? What do? You say, the family of so-and-so here is what we do. This is our thing. So we encourage parents to have a family culture, which they are going to take it to the next generation. And it is so sweet. You know, you've heard people say, this is what Shosho used to do, this is what Granny used to do, you know, because it's a culture that is followed up. So you've talked about environment. So how do we create a haven? One thing, games, board games. Please, parents, buy board games in your homes, yeah? Play, you know, even if you are the director of any company of this country or you're working too hard, once you come to the family, you are a father. If a mother is a CEO somewhere, she's so busy, good. But once you come home, you are a mother. You know, let's know our roles. You know, if you're a child, be a child. Because we've seen homes which have a mother and a father, but there's a leader. And the leader is a child. So let us take our roles as parents and let your children know you can be on the carpet, you know, they are all over you, you know, they play, they know even the size of your foot, you know, those nice small issues, you know. There's an example whereby dads were asked to look after their children. The dads were left with their kids, the kids were wrapped all over, and the dads were told, come and identify your child. Yeah, it was like they wanted to know whether the dads know their children. And most dads did not recognize their children because the children were all wrapped. They were only left the toes. And most dads made a mistake. Why? Because the dads that do not look maybe physical features of your child, maybe your child has a mark here. You know, it's good to really concentrate with your child and know them. Do your children know you also? Once you get to the gate, the way you hoot at the gate, they know that is dad. Or you hoot too much, or you hoot too little. They know. They will say, today, dad is not in the good mood. So it's good also as we be vulnerable to our children.
Okay.
So that they can know when we are stressed. It's okay to be stressed. We talked about that earlier. It's okay to be stressed unless it doesn't go overboard to become chronic. So as you set the board games, you can say our culture is singing. Let's take out the hymns. Yeah, every Friday. Even if your university son is, you don't know where he is, call him. Where are you? Today we are singing. That togetherness, it brings the bond together. Weekends, where do you go, for example? Do you visit your parents? We are also aging, remember? Would you like to be visited by your kids? Yes. So show them how to visit. Visit an orphanage, for example. Yeah, show them to give. That is also a sign of togetherness. Those are the things you're saying about the environment. And let me tell you, even when you go to school, you will know a child who's come from an environment that is conducive. They will always be helping out, giving out, speaking at the front, confidence levels.
Yeah, what's coming out?
Yeah,
and that's really inspiring. Isn't it? It's actually possible.
It is
to set like a low level of stress in the home.
Yes.
Now, some of the persons who are watching this program
Yeah.
are leaders of organizations.
Yes.
They are leaders of corporations.
Yes.
They are leaders of departments.
Yes.
They are leaders. And some of these, leaders end up really creating frustrating environments. And sometimes, sadly, it's intentional. Do you want to really drive your department? You want to drive your employees. You really want to, and they end up actually being sickly,
Yes.
and maybe being unproductive. What did you say to the leaders of corporations, the leaders of departments, concerning, the way they manage their people?
Okay, leaders of corporations and the way they manage the corporations. The same thing happens even in families. If you are a leader, for example, the best thing is to exhibit all, leadership skills in your organization, just as the way you would become a leader in your home. For example, how does an MD treat their employees? Is there wellness programs in your organization? Yeah? How do you treat women who are on maternity leave, for example? What are the policies of the sick, the retirees? This is the work of the leaders or the MDs of corporations to look at wellness. Remember, we are in a pandemic of mental health. Yeah? Too much has happened. So how do we ease up even these people who are coming from a family to your organization on a daily basis? Are they coming from a family to an organization of stress, or are they coming from a family of stress to a good organization and vice versa? So we would like to create a stable environment from the family to the organization. If your family is good and the environment is good, I promise you, even your workers will enjoy.
All right. We have the viewers who are making different comments, and we appreciate very much our viewers for your engagement. And again, our WhatsApp line is 0708 222 323. Keep engaging us. And we have, Ivan Somia, who is asking a question. How does low self-esteem contribute to stress?
Yeah, thank you so much, Ivan, for that question. Yeah, if an individual is not able to meet and talk on their behalf and talk about themselves and what they feel, they get stressed. I'll give an example. If an individual is not confident and they have very good points they want to give, yeah? Let's say it's a debate, for example. You know what you're supposed to ask, and yet you cannot be able to stand on your feet confidently. What will happen? Your body will start shaking. Your adrenaline will go high. Why? Because you're wondering, do I stand? Do I, you get anxious. That is a level of stress.
Okay.
Why? Low self-esteem, normally, it is caused by so much childhood childhood experiences. Yeah. Remember we talked about 0 to 6 years? That is where a child is built mentally.
All right.
Yes.
Just again from our viewers, just asking about people who go drinking, for instance, and in the name of stress. Like, why are you here? It's because, why are you drinking so much? And they end up telling you it's about stress, right? It's because the stress I've received at work, at home, and all that.
Yes.
And the question to you now, Mercy, is what are some of the negative, before we go to the positive ones, what are some of the negative reactions or coping mechanisms that that people get engage in?
Yeah. You've already mentioned one. That is drinking. Yeah. Changing from an individual was not drinking, then they end up going to drink because they have too much, they cannot be able to cope, and they look for a defense mechanism. That is one. Alcoholism is one. Yeah. There is also mood swings, the way I had talked about. Somebody just changes drastically. They do not want to talk to anybody. And maybe they've even changed the route. People change routes even when they are going to work. You dislike a certain route, you start going to another route. That is also a defense mechanism. Another one is most people, majority of people, close their doors and they stay away from the society completely. Completely. They don't want to see anybody. The phone, we can't forget that. Social media is here. Most people, I'm not saying those people who are always on the phones are stressed, but it's a coping mechanism. The phone has really proven to be one of the antisocial gadgets we have in the current world, the 21st century. So most majority people will go to their WhatsApp, even if there's nothing they're doing, they're just scrolling their phone because they can't be able to cope. The brain is saying, hey, things are not working. We are not sober. So defense is social media. Yeah.
Okay. Quite a lot. I think lots of people indulging in things to cure the stress.
Exactly.
And now maybe you can now tell us what's the healthy path towards curing a stressful life.
Yeah.
You've talked about those negative ones, but tell us about the healthy path.
Okay.
I'm under stress, I'm under duress, I'm under things, I'm under pressure, and I'm breaking. So how do I heal? How do I cure? How do I get back to health?
Yeah. That is the turnaround point. Surely, if an individual is going through stress, there is help. Good news is that there is help. Talk to someone. That is the first thing. Know that things are not working. And what happens when you feel overwhelmed, Maybe it's burnout of your workplace and stuff. Maybe your marriage is not working and it's really breaking you down. Talk to someone. I would like to talk about vulnerability here. And we had talked about it earlier. It's good to be vulnerable. Vulnerability is a sign of strength.
If you can break it down, what do you mean vulnerability?
Vulnerable means talk to someone. Gone are the days when you share your issue and people will think you're just sharing for the sake of it, or you're fearing to be, blackmailed or something. It's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to talk about your issues. You know why? You're the first person who has these issues. Yeah? You are a human being. We are all human beings. So we are either coming out from an issue or getting into or anticipating into another one. So these things are unavoidable. So talk to someone. That is the first thing. There's help.
When you talk about talking to someone, I would want you to maybe qualify that a little bit.
Yes.
Because I'm sure you don't mean talking to anyone.
Yeah. It's good to talk to a professional, counselor, a psychologist, who will take you through what you're feeling, your emotions, the reactions, That is the first thing. Of course, a psychologist will do you great because they'll go with you up to your healing process. That is number one. Yeah? So once you talk to someone, I think that is where the issues start getting healed. the wounds, even the wounds of a long time ago, they start becoming healed, Something else is exercise, Walk, buy the shoes, wear the sneakers, wear sporty, walk, climb a mountain. I know we normally go for these mountain climbing things, these runs, Exercise every day. You can go to the gym. You can walk around your compound, You can watch YouTube exercises at home, Maybe depending on your work and your schedule. But you got to make the body stressed, as in good stress. Yeah, we talked about good stress. Why are we saying this? Once you exercise, your muscles relax. If you go to a doctor, and most people, they say they have a problem with their neck. I don't know. Yeah, my neck is paining, That is a complaint, common complaint. It is because your neck is not, the muscles are so constrained. Then you're given muscle relievers. Instead of the muscle relievers, go for exercises, relieve the whole body, The body gives and releases hormones, the feel-good hormones. And those feel-good hormones, what they do, they make you sleep like a baby. You sleep soundly. You didn't even feel, anything, because your body is already tired. Now it's relaxing. Yeah, muscle relaxation. Another thing, do something good that you love, like a hobby. What do you love? Do you love drawing? Even if you're a CEO of a company, for example, what do you love doing? Just be the child you are, even when you are an adult. Swimming, bird watching, worshipping. Yeah, those are the remedies for stress. Yeah, sex. Sex has proven to be a very good relaxing thing.
Of course, within the confines of marriage. Yes.
Of course. A couple, majority of the issues that come up, even the ones we deal with them every day, is about sex. A couple not having sex. So it is a stressor by itself. So how do you cure it? That is automatic. Have sex regularly. It brings the body, especially if you're working so hard, both of you as a couple, the best relaxation, have intimacy, and I'm telling you, even the home will be good. Even the kids will be happy. Everybody will be happy. At work, you will be happy. Everybody will smile.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
All right. I think the good news is that there are positive things that we can do to get ourselves. And some of them are very simple. You don't need to do anything. They don't cost you anything. You just need to engage in exercise, engage in conversation, do something that you like.
Yes.
And that and those are things that are accessible to us.
Yes.
And so it's a matter of not just thinking about and knowing about these things, but actually going out and doing them.
Exactly.
Don't just think, oh, maybe I should resume my tennis, or maybe I should resume my running.
Yeah.
I mean, until you get to do it, that's when the effect really kicks in.
Yeah.
Faith in God. You talked about worshiping and all that.
Yes.
But sometimes stress comes out of faith sometimes. Like your own faith, your own Christian faith, can sometimes become a source of stress. It's supposed to relieve stress, but sometimes it can cause stress by itself.
Yeah.
Can you talk about spirituality and how it can be burdensome as well?
Yeah. You see, spirituality is good. We have to believe in God, but if an individual prays every day, it's good to pray. I'm a Christian, but you're not doing something. The issue is act. Pray for something, then act, because once you pray and wait, it will not come. What happens? Stress levels. But if you pray as you work, even there's these parables, the stories of Jesus, and even the woman who had 12 years of bleeding and everything, she just walked inside the crowd and touched the cloth of Jesus. And what happened? She got the attention of Jesus, and what happened then? She was told she's healed because she did something. She had prayed. Can you imagine? For 12 years. So praying without acting. Let's say an individual is praying for a job or for a spouse. You pray for a spouse to come, and you're praying every day, and you're not going out. Or maybe the individual is just in locked spaces. Then surely you got to act. If it is a job, you can have like 10 applications per day. Yeah, make sure you apply 10 applications per day. What will happen? As you pray, you remind God, I did 10, tomorrow I'm doing 10. Within 20 days, I'm very sure you'll get a job.
Faith with action.
Yes, it has to go like that. So what makes individuals get stressed in their spirituality? Because it's one-sided. It's one way. Focused on God, fasting, serving God, it is very good. But what about work? Because also God says, yeah, faith without
action.
work, yeah,
Yeah.
it's dead.
All right.
Exactly.
You know, it's interesting how time just goes. Finally, Mercy, there is, you meet some people who have gone through a very difficult life.
Yeah.
And you listen to their stories and you're like, whoa, that's quite something. But they say, I just woke up one morning and decided I'm going to be happy. Right? They just woke up one morning and said, I just want to be happy.
Yes.
To what extent now is this happy life an intentional choice?
Thank you very much. You know, this life, until you are hit, is when you get a turnaround, because you do not know. When an individual reaches a point of saying enough is enough, that's when change sets in. And what is this change? It is that intentional issue. You see, money cannot give us happiness, you know. If it is a spouse, cannot give, you know, there are so many things that we want, but we realize they will not give us happiness. So if the outside, we normally say, if you're focusing on the outside, they cannot do you any harm. The enemy is within you, you know. The enemy is in you because you've decided not to be happy. But can you imagine today, right now, somebody may say, from today, I choose to be happy. I choose to see my sickness as a healing process. I choose to see my wayward child go back to school or respect me, see positivity. Because you see, if you see negative things, they drain you and they make you unhappy. But I would challenge viewers to be intentional. And it is very simple to be intentional. It's by mind shifting. Just shift. Start with very small things by being whole. Are you in sync with your mind, for example? Who are you? You know, let's go to the basics. Why do I exist, for example? Why am I in this house? Why am I a mother here? What are my duties? What are am I an auntie of a child? What am I supposed to do? Once we know our work in a family setup, in an organization, we get meaning. Because if life does not have meaning, it can be so boring. Yes.
All right. And I mean, a world full of lots of competition.
Yes.
And we have lots of people who, let's say you've chosen to be happy.
Yes.
And some other person is stressed by that very fact, that other people are so happy.
Yes.
And so they actually set on their path to make them unhappy.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
they set on a path to frustrate, you know, the joy that you are experiencing.
Yes.
And it's an interesting mind. And there are quite many, you know,
Yes.
people who intentionally choose to be stressors, you know. And it's not an accident. It's not something that has come upon them. They are intentional.
Yes.
I speak to stressors.
Yes. I'm going to speak to stressors. Okay, it's a challenging issue I've been given to speak to stressors. Because I would shift from the stressors to the stressed. And I'll talk to the stressed and say, why would you allow outside world to stress you while you have life in control of your hands? That is it. So forget about the stressors. The stressors are external factors, external forces. Here is you from head to toe. You are an individual. So I would say I choose not to see what my stressor is doing. And you do what? You block. You know, that is an art. It's an art of blocking and saying, yes, be aware. Be aware that the stressor is coming. Be aware what the stressor is going to do. Once you are aware, the stressor will hit, go back. Hit, go back. And what happens? The stressor will be tired. So I would challenge our viewers to act the opposite way. Deal with yourself. Arm yourself with shock absorbers because stressors must come in. But regardless, because they have to come in, we concentrate on ourselves more than the outside.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much for those insights that have come, and our viewers have really appreciated because they're very practical. And I'm sure that there are things that people are just going to start doing or stop doing. I mean, just from the insights that you have shared. And again, we want to appreciate our viewers for all your engagement. And one of very encouraging one here is coming from Emmanuel, who is saying, Spotlight is the best TV show ever.
Wow.
Of course, this has come from the content that you have given to our viewers. And again, viewer, this has been Spotlight. So much insights and that has come about our lives. And of course, it's God's will that our joy be complete. And specifically, I mean, let's speak to people who are usually out, you know, to destroy the joy of others. Now, don't be a stressor. You know, just be one who facilitates happiness. That's a better place to be. This has been Spotlight. Thank you for watching.